Hey, this is Rick from Mike and Rick Outdoors, and today I'm going to tell you about the Garmin inReach Mini right here. It's a two-way satellite messenger. It has maps and a whole lot more. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how you actually have to set some things up on the map ahead of time and your contacts. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and turn on that notification so you'll get alerted as soon as we put out new videos here on Mike and Rick Outdoors. The first thing I want to tell you, and I'm going to cut away here to a computer screen here in a second, but you need to do a few things ahead of time when you initialize the Garmin, and also then set it up. And then when you get ready to go out to a trail, then you need to put in contacts. It's best if you put in contacts, and then you can actually put in waypoints and things like that on the map at home while you're in Wi-Fi, and then you can actually see and list certain places that you really want to go. Let's talk about satellite messengers and why they're important. I've been hiking and camping for 35 years and never had a satellite messenger on me. And there have been several times where we've come close to some dangerous things happening. Several times there were snakes, there was a water moccasin, there was a rattler, there was other times when we were, somebody got, in fact it was me at one point, I was getting altitude sickness, and nobody was around. I was up around 12,000 feet up in the Rockies. There's just all these different reasons why, you want to be able to call for help. You either let people know when you're out there you're okay or that you need help. Other times it's a life-threatening emergency. But here's the other thing too. We all think nothing's ever going to happen to us. But what about if it happens to somebody else? When you're out and you've got a satellite messenger and something happens to somebody on your team or somebody that you come across, and you have the ability to call for help to get them out and to get them life-saving procedures or care. I want to add a little bit more about why it's important to have a satellite messenger, not just for my personal experience in the past. My daughter was on the Western Mountain Rescue Team in Gunnison for 2 years. The most active time of the year for the mountain rescue team was in the summer when everybody's vacationing in Colorado. But one of the other real active times of the year is hunting season. No disrespect to hunters that are coming in from all over, but when you come into Colorado, it's different here. Sometimes you may have come a lot, you may be used to the area, but there's a lot of people who are coming in sometimes first time, and they aren't used to all the the mountainous terrain. Sometimes they're not in physical shape for it, and other times they're not used to the different weather patterns, how fast things change in the mountains. And so they were getting called up all the time, not for deaths or injuries so much. What they were getting called up the most on was hunters that were lost, overdue, a day or two overdue. And so having a satellite messenger is really important, and I can't recommend enough that you go get a satellite messenger and stay safe. Give yourself and your family and friends that comfort of knowing that you can communicate with people, whether it's a search and rescue team, whether it's just keeping your family and friends happy and comfortable that you're fine. Will take a huge load off of you when you're out trying to enjoy the mountains. Being able to message your team is really critical, and you got to be careful, because if you got different messengers, they don't always communicate with each other. But I keep telling all my family members and friends is, we need to get Garmin's, because Garmin's, if you get the same device, you could get other devices that are same. That's not a problem. But like I like Garmin. The Garmin's my favorite messenger, and the Mini is by far my favorite because of what I do. I'm more day hikes, and I'm not going out for long periods of time. When we're out and our team finds a great place to camp, a waterfall, some cool photo op, or we get lost, we can't find each other, that's when you really having the two-way messengers really comes into play. And so I really like that about them. So let's get into the device itself. How you set it up when you're at home, and then we'll move into actually looking at the device here, doing things on it. If you're going to use it to connect with your smartphone, what it looks like on the smartphone. So here we are at the home screen for, it's actually called Explorer, but it's the Garmin site. And I'm not going to go through all of this here, just to say real quick, I've already done videos of all of these, and where I've showed how you set it all up, and you set up maps and then export. So here's a map, here's a route I had already set up with waypoints, and then here's where you export it. So let's get back to the review. All right, we're back from showing you the setup and the maps and all that and contacts at home. So let's look at the satellite messenger here. I've got an attachment here. This is a attachment you can get anywhere. I'll put a link to it. It's really nice to have it because it attaches to your pack here, and both of them have Velcro straps on them here. on both. And it makes it super easy to pull off. Like if you were out and about and you wanted to message, use SOS, and you wanted to look at it actually, it's good to be able to take it off and put it in front of you. On the top here is the power button. Here on the side is an OK button, a return or go back button. Here's the next one down. The SOS is right here. You open this, hold that down for like 3 to 5 seconds, and help will be on the way. But what's nice is on this, you can then communicate with them when they will call you and say, or call you, they will message you and say, you know, hey, what's the emergency? Is it a real emergency, or is it in error? And then you can talk to them, say, tell them exactly what's going on. So then they can be better prepared to respond to you, because they'll be able to know exactly what's going on. On the other side here, it's an up and down button. And that's really about it. This is the antenna, of course, and then you've got the screen. So one thing they say is when you're carrying this, make sure you're positioning it straight up in the air. And so that's how they get the best reception with the satellites. So let's go ahead and turn this on and take a look at it. You just hold this power button down on top, and then it comes up with a message, and it'll say something about, you know, testing your device, make sure it's good and ready to go. I've made several mistakes with my satellite messengers, but luckily I go out not too far away from my home, check it out, and then if I have to return to do something, it's not that hard. You may not be able to see it real well, but I'll have some screenshots up here. But on the screen itself, you've got the time, and there's the battery indicator, and then on the screen it says up, down arrow, it says OK and return, or back arrow, whatever. So it says on the screen what the buttons are for on the side. And real quick here, I'll show you. I'm going to show you some of the things you can do on this. If you hit the OK button, like here it says send presets. There are a bunch of preset messages you can send, and then I just tried to swipe the screen, it doesn't work. And see, actually, I don't use this device as a standalone device. I use my smartphone, but I'm just going to show you right here. You can do a lot of different things. Here's start tracking. The next one down is a new message, and mark waypoint, navigate, utilities, and setup. So I can go into all those, but you might get bored. The mark waypoint is really great, because doing it here, you can like set the waypoint of, like I said, whether it's a great camping spot or you found some elk or whatever. A new message. So let me go back to real quick the preset messages. Again, I tried to hit the screen. Can't do that. You got to hit OK. And starting my trip, I've got different things here. Delayed, but everything is okay. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm just going to use that one. And then you can hit send. To who am I sending that to? It actually gives me some options of who I send to. Or these are actually showing old messages. All right. So I may have just sent that to somebody. Yep, I did send it to somebody. So here's the deal. And this is why I've kind of forgotten some of this, because I don't use this way. I have people on my contacts there that I set to say, these are the people, when I use a preset message, these are who I'm sending it to. It's my son, my daughter, my wife. It might be Mike. Now, if you want to say send a message, so now we're going to go back arrow. This is where you use the back arrow, go back out. So this shows here a message has been sent. So now we're going to get out of this. We're going to go back in. Instead of preset, we're going to do a new message. You hit OK and select contacts. And there's several here. There's Facebook, Twitter, Map Share, and then there's these. So I have different contacts down here. And yeah, there's my wife, there's my son and daughter, and I'm going to bother my kids with another message. So you can select choose to like put a phone number in, so you can text them or send it via email. So I would click this on my son. Actually, it checks it, and you can do multiple. Okay, so that gives you can like check all these different people you want to send it to. And then up here it says done. So you hit done, and then it says write message. So I'm going to put hold OK to autocomplete. Yeah, I guess I can do that, autocomplete. Let's go up here and write the message. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, and I'm not actually going to send this message, but down on the right here is all the letters. So this is what's challenging about this. So up here, say I made a mistake with some letters, and then you can do back arrow, or that's actually just going back, it doesn't delete. You can do forward arrow. Now it's wanting to see, I'm telling you, I just don't use this way. So you can just arrow down to all these different letters and numbers, and it's really handy because you can do this without, if your cell phone dies, or you just out, you don't ever sync it, you can write a message, but it takes time because you got to arrow down, hit OK, backspace, and it just takes some time. So that's not how I use this, but it's great to have this option. There's several things this Garmin inReach Mini doesn't have compared to the Garmin inReach Explorer. And one, the Garmin inReach Explorer has a screen with the maps on it. It also has a accelerometer. A accelerometer actually checks your speed. Then you have an altimeter, and then there is one other thing. So, and I'll put that on the screen. But it makes it more accurate and more helpful when you're looking at how your speed you're going, and also that your altitude you're at, etc. And Garmin inReach Mini can get weather. You can send messages. You can look at maps. You can navigate. You can put down waypoints. It has a lot of options, but like I said, this is not how I operate. So what I do is I take it and I put it right here back on my pack. That's where it stays. What I use is my phone, and I have it synced with my smartphone. You need to carry a charger with you when you're using your smartphone, because even if you're out for a day, you might be tracking a lot, you might be taking a lot of videos, photos, you may run out of battery. So always be able to have a battery backup with you. And they're real small, they're like the size of a phone, and you can charge like 3-4 times. So make sure you have that, and I'll put a link for some good ones down below. Okay, I'm going to show you what it's like on the phone now. It's much easier. You got a big screen, and you use the Earthmate app. Right now it went to maps immediately. Down at the bottom there are maps, messages, tracking, compass, and then there's more. This is settings here. And up at the top here, you hit this arrow, it sends you to where you're at. So there's my location. There it shows roads, trails, and then you can hit this north arrow. It locks the north arrow direction, or you can have it move with you. And then up here at the very top, you can select the type of map you want to look at, whether it's an aerial or topo map. Above that is the battery level. Actually, that's the battery level, I think, for my phone, so ignore that. And the time here. So again, we're on the map, and here, this is where you can go in ahead of time and put your location down, so your trail. So here's an example right here, and you may not be able to see it. I'll put a screenshot up of it, but I put a trail down here. I put different places where I was at when I wanted to let somebody know I was testing it as far as the waypoints, and you can see everything from the trails to roads and all that. So it's really good. Then you've got messages here. I've sent many messages. I'll put some images up of successful messages I've made. I'll just go back to add this one item here, is that you have to test. If you have different messengers, you need to test them to make sure they actually communicate with each other, even if you're using the same device or both Garmin devices, whether it's an inReach Mini or an inReach Explorer Plus. You need to go test it. You need to make sure that whether you need contacts in, how it works, how long it takes. Normally it takes like 3 to 5 minutes to send a message and receive a message, so you got to be a little more patient. So always test it before you go out. Then you can tracking right here. You can see right here I've got a bunch of tracks that I've done just recently, and then you've got the compass. I don't use the compass because with the map and seeing where you're at and the trail and all that, the compass may come in handy someday, but I actually don't use it. So that's really I say that's it. There are other things on here too. I guess it's probably under settings here. There's routes, history, there's weather. So you can select weather, and then you have to be careful, because there's a few of the subscriptions that don't give you weather. So you got to make sure you're picking a subscription that allows you to get weather, or it costs a certain amount of money. And I'll put some more information up on that when I get back home. That's really it, everybody. I don't want to make this video too long, but I wanted to show you all the different functions of the Garmin inReach Mini. It is my -- favorite satellite messenger, and the Garmin inReach Explorer is a better device. It's bigger, but it's better for longer ventures outside, if you're going to be out for a longer period of time. Both of these batteries will last a week or longer. I'll put that information up on both of them. But if you're going to go out for a long time or you don't want to use your smartphone, then the Garmin inReach Explorer is the way to go. I'll do a video of that later. But like now, if you're going out for a day or two and you're doing hiking, hunting, fishing, this Garmin inReach Mini being so small, I don't even realize it's on my pack. It's a great device, and it does everything I need it to do. So take a look at it. It's really great, and I'll be adding more satellite messengers as the weeks go on. So stay tuned. And thanks for joining me on Mike and Rick Outdoors. And hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you'll get notified as soon as we put out other great videos. See you again here on Mike and Rick Outdoors.